Hi everyone, today I'm going to walk you through the rule of thirds. So if you've been doing photography for any amount of time, chances are somewhere, somehow, some way you have heard the term rule of thirds. And if you're relatively new to photography, or maybe even if you've been doing it for a while, you may not be completely sure what that even means. Or you might have a general idea, but you may not be certain that you fully understand. So today I'm going to break it down for you, and we're going to talk about what the rule of thirds is and how we use that in photography to create really meaningful and impactful composition in our photos. So I'm going to show you a handful of images that utilize the rule of thirds. First, I'll show you the image by itself, and then I'll show you the image with this grid overlay so that we can walk through the exact details of how I'm utilizing the rule of thirds in each of these photos. So before I start, I want to talk about this grid. So you'll see the image on my screen has a grid over it, and it breaks the photo into 3 vertical sections and 3 horizontal sections. Those cross points that you see here, 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 and here, these are what we're talking about primarily when we talk about the rule of thirds. Wanting to place either your subject or the area of attention that you want to be the area of attention at one of those cross points. Now, you can also utilize the rule of thirds not just at the cross points, but let's say you have a horizon line in your photo. Maybe there are other things going on. You can also utilize that by paying attention to the horizontal and the vertical planes. So it's not always just about the cross point. So let's get started. I'll walk you through just some examples. This is a pretty simple concept to grasp, and once you fully understand what the rule of thirds is, you can really make a big difference in the composition of your photos. So we'll start here with this image. This was a photo taken outside, and you'll see that we utilize the rule of thirds by placing the subject in that upper right-hand corner. So just to give you a little bit more of a visual, I'll place the grid over the image there, and you can see that my subject's, the area of attention, is right there in that top right third. That tends to be, for my specific photographic style, I tend to use this corner the most, and you'll see that as we walk through these images, but of course you can use any of them. So here's the next image. We're utilizing the rule of thirds. Also notice that we're utilizing layering here. So if you look to the left side of this image, you can see that I'm kind of shooting through some leaves. So that's another composition trick as well. But we're talking today about the rule of thirds, so let me show you how I'm utilizing it. So we've got her eye right there at that cross point. In this image, we're utilizing the lower right corner as the focal point, and that's how we're establishing the rule of thirds in this photo. I'll show you here. So the group of kids kind of place that cross point kind of right in the middle of the kids there so that they are the focal point there. And here we have this subject again. Again, we're using the lower right area of the photo to utilize the rule of thirds. Here we have a ring shot. We place the grid over it. You'll see that the stone of the ring is right there in that bottom right third. And here we have a wedding image, wedding reception. When we look at the grid, we'll see that our couple is composed with their faces right in that top right third. And here's another single portrait. This time we're using the upper left corner. And so you'll see here my subject's eye is right at that upper left cross point. This one is also utilizing the upper left cross point here. And then for this image, we're back over to that upper right. My subject's, the focal point of them in that upper right corner. You'll see that here. And then the final image example, the focal point here was the bride's mom's hands helping her with her dress. And so we've got that in the bottom left corner. So you'll see that when you're using the rule of thirds, it really just brings nice composition. It's very visually appealing. and it helps you add variety and interest to your photos. We don't, you can place images in the center. The rule of thirds is not the only way to compose your photos. There are certainly many other ways. This is just one, and it's one of the more popular, and it's personally my favorite way to add variety and interest to my photos by utilizing this rule of thirds. It also tends to be the easiest to understand. So if you're really wanting to take some next steps with your images and you're not sure how, I would encourage you to start being really intentional about utilizing the rule of thirds in your photos and see what a difference it can make.